Warriors, welcome to another powerful video on my channel. My friends, there are so many people watching these videos but just aren't subscribing, so I urge you to subscribe to one of the best anxiety support channels there are around YouTube. And please, if you have any other questions on any of my anxiety recovery programs, head on over here. And friends, the words health anxiety and the words inner child are getting tossed around lately, right? They're getting tossed around in our community, but I'm also seeing these words tossed around in different forums and groups and chats and such and social media. So I think it's very, very important today that I get very, very honest and direct with you in terms of who the inner child is and how it's connected to health anxiety. But also, towards the end of this video, I'm going to give you one of the most important pieces of advice that you need to hear when it comes to healing your health anxiety through the inner child. So I've got my notes here just to make sure that I don't skip anything. So firstly, I want to describe a little bit about the inner child so that you understand what it is you're dealing with on the inside, okay? The inner child has a goal-achieving mind, okay? Has a goal-achieving mind. And that goal is all related to protection. If a new goal is not presented, often it will revert to its original goal, okay? So the inner child is the resemblance of your core beliefs. The inner child is the mirror of your core beliefs and your past memories. More so the negative memories than the positive memories, because it's a lot easier to remember, identify, and react based on negativity than it is to positivity. Because negativity spurs on action, which in turn spurs on protection, right? Positivity, on the other hand, spurs on a sense of being content with things around you and being present. So there's no real protection there when it comes to love and being content and gratitude. So the inner child pushes us to protect us from any foreseeable threat that may arise in the future. And my friends, with health anxiety in particular, there was a moment, a very, very powerful moment, where I went from focusing on the symptoms I was experiencing from a physical, structural point of view to more so an emotional point of view coming from the inner child. This transition is about 50% of the journey, which will give you the proper mindset. For example, you wake up in the morning one day and you've got that lingering anxiety symptom. Oh, there it is again, right? And let's say it's dizziness, because dizziness and depersonalization are very, very common in the health anxiety world, right? So you wake up with the symptom, and instead of going, oh man, what do I take for this? Who do I see for this? Is this ever going to go away? And you start distracting yourself through your work or social media. Instead of doing those things, you go, oh, there's that dizziness that's connected to a feeling within me coming from the inner child that doesn't want me to experience overwhelm again in my life. Dizziness and depersonalization are very much connected to overwhelm and not wanting to overwhelm you more in the future. So with the dizziness, we can get to a certain degree of tension and pressure, but it never gets to the point of where it was before, because of the dizziness and because of the depersonalization, you notice? Because there is a sense of numbness that comes with the desensitization and the dizziness. And so that numbness is a form of protection. So if you wake up in the morning and you start to see your dizziness as a form of protection from further overwhelm, I mean, how much is that going to change your entire perspective over the day, yourself and your symptoms? It's absolutely huge. So just as a sidebar here, I want you guys to understand that one of the biggest things that I did to heal my health anxiety for good, not manage, but heal it for good, was to move from a place of focusing my energy on the physical aspect of it to the emotional aspect of it, coming from the inner child. Okay? Write these down in the notes, and of course I will also put these down in the description for you, okay? Number 2, just ideas around the inner child right now. The inner child would rather call upon self-mutilation than directly face and resolve unresolved feelings based off of memory that get stuck in the body. This is powerful. It's so powerful. The inner child would rather move you towards self-mutilation, okay, self-destruction at a physical level. It would rather do that than to confront the feelings and emotions that have been boiling up within you over these years, and to allow you to express those things in a negative or a positive manner. Can you imagine? Like, just take a moment, for example, and think about our world today. Cancer, physical disease, illnesses. You know, you go to the doctor and surgery is made, right? And once the limb, the organ gets cut out, right, the person feels a temporary sense of relief, or often doesn't, and the underlying issues start to arise in different body parts in different ways very, very soon afterwards. So doctors and physicians know from year to year who's going to be sick based on who's already sick. Right? If somebody's sick and they come to the doctor's office and there is some kind of medicative process, right, or whatever it may be, and that gets taken care of, they know that deep down, if the unresolved feelings and emotions continue to play a part in the physical body, then they're going to be back at the doctor's office next year, the year after, and so on, and this will just compound to the point where it produces, you know, whatever. Right? So the inner child is more open to self-mutilation, okay, the destruction of the physical body, than to resolve and bring to the forefront the unresolved feelings and emotions that are stuck there based on experiences and relationships from the past. This is a more than anxiety moment. Please take hold of it, write it down, understand it, and don't victimize yourself because of this information. Don't go there. It's so easy to play the victim with health anxiety. Poor me. That's the easiest thing to do. Okay? But I want you to understand that the moment you move out of a sake of poor me and victimhood, your life is going to change, and you're going to move towards the place of the unknown, and the unknown is your friend. We're almost getting to the main answer here, but again, inner child work first. The only time a negative emotion can harm you is when it's stuck in the body. The only time a negative emotion can harm you is when it's stuck in the body. People come to me and say, Dennis, I've had chronic headache for so long, right? And right away, I say, well, you're obviously relying on your mental faculty to do all the work for you. So there's a lot of overthinking there. There's a lot of overwhelm there. There's a lot of responsibility there in terms of work and relationships and such. And that stagnant energy is showing up through your headaches and through your migraines. The moment I say that, they go, yeah, my life really is moving in that direction. So I got to stop taking the Advils and focus more so on the emotional component of this. Someone comes to me and says, Dennis, I've got this tightness in my chest. And I go, okay, what have you done for it? Well, I've gone to the chiro, I've gone to the physiotherapist, I've done years of talk therapy and such, and there doesn't seem to be any relief. And I asked them, well, have you ever considered the fact that suppressed anger could be the very reason for that heaviness in your chest? And they go, wow, I really have been holding on to all this anger, blame, and guilt based on the relationships with my parents from when I was a child. Hope you don't mind the birds singing out there for a few moments here, guys. So, and again, someone else will come to me and say, I've got this nervousness in my stomach that just doesn't seem to go away, this tightness in my stomach. Well, what are you afraid of about the future? Well, I'm afraid of change. Bingo, right? So we're starting to make these connections between what the body is telling you and what you're holding on to emotionally that needs resolve. It really needs resolve, my friends, okay? And in terms of resolve, many of you will understand through my books, especially F Coping, Start Healing, and my main approach to healing, which comes down to the R&R approach, which is responding and reframing. If you want to learn more about responding, actually, if you want to learn more about reframing, first and foremost, go right here, okay, and begin the playlist right there. So, at this very moment, I want you to take a moment to yourself and ask yourself the question of, what have I learned about my inner child and my body, which is a form of the inner child, that I didn't know before? I'll give you a moment. Moment's done. If you want, just comment below. I'd love to hear what it is that is the clarity connected to your inner child. Let's share. Let's build a community. Let's heal here, my friends, okay? Now, are you ready? The answer is here. A lot of people ask me, Dennis, what's the most important thing when it comes to the building of the relationship with the inner child, moving the inner child from a place of fear to a place of safety? Okay, fear because of old interpretations and traumas, safety because of there is an upgrade to what we believe is true about ourselves and the world. We can do this with the inner child. The key is this: an intention to directly communicate with the inner child's ideas when needed is key, with a level of emotional intensity that can get the new message across. When you communicate with your own inner child, the most important thing is emotional intensity. You can't go, oh, inner child, we're about to go into the shopping mall, and I know there's a lot of people here, but I would prefer that you would just not allow those symptoms to show up and allow me to be at peace while I go shopping. No! Inner child's going, are you kidding me? This is the way you want me to change my perspective? No, thank you. Symptoms. Here we go. Panic attack. Right? No. Emotional intensity. You know how a 2-year-old just is, terrible twos, right? And they're screaming all the time and such. And then you find that intuitively the right thing to do would be to put that 2-year-old in its place sometimes, right? Obviously not in a violent way, but more so in a direct and emotional way, right? Using positive words, of course. And eventually the 2-year-old may get the message. That's how you approach your inner child. Inner child has a moment, a stomach feeling there, a nervousness. Automatically you go inside, or you could speak it out loud and say, inner child, I know that you're nervous about this upcoming transition. We're moving. We've left our job and now we're moving towards creating a business or investing in something. And I know it's scary to you, but let me teach you something right now. What you think is scary is actually exciting, inner child, and let me tell you why. It's exciting because we can leave the rat race, inner child. It's exciting because we can finally move out of a state of zombie consciousness, as is society today, and we can heighten our consciousness and awareness now and bring new adventure, new spontaneity into our life. Inner child, do you understand? And now the inner child's going, okay, well, maybe it is time that we question the old and bring in the new. But remember, it doesn't happen overnight. This sort of emotionally intense conversation and dialogue going on in the inside must be consistent, number one, and you must act in line with the emotional intensity, number two. If you dialogue with your inner child in terms of a feeling or words or out loud or whatever it is, and then you leave it alone, yes, there will be a certain degree of change. But if you act on it, and in that moment you open up your book and you start writing down new plans about your business, new plans about your future and such, you are taking action. You are compounding what it is you want to change, right? This is the key. And again, emotional intensity when dialoguing with your inner child is the key. Consistency is the key. And action following these steps is the key. Your inner child / subconscious mind and your conscious mind will start to feel congruent. They will have rapport. They will feel like they're working together, whereas right now, the conscious mind goes, hey, there's no fear in me going outside, right? As an agoraphobic. But the inner child says, are you crazy? You're going outside. There's lions out there. There's tigers. There's elephants. For goodness sake, there's mosquitoes, right? There's people out there, right? That's all coming from the inner child. Okay, so now there's a shift happening. There's a connection to new beliefs and ideas that you're presenting. But again, you have to present them in these ways and consistently in order to get the result. And remember, when you get the result as a health anxiety sufferer from the past, don't go looking for symptoms. Don't go looking for pain. Don't go back and start looking for who you were before. Remember, the purpose for doing all this is to leave that world and to move into a new world. So you can stop looking at your past and you can start learning from your past. That's another more than anxiety moment right there, my friends. I love you all from the bottom of my heart. Did this video speak to you? And in any way, I want you to share in the comment section right now how it spoke to you. As well, please subscribe to this channel. I know so many people are jumping from one teacher or mentor to another, but I want you to stay focused on your healing, right? We're here to heal anxiety and go far beyond anxiety. We're not here to manage or cope our symptoms, so I highly suggest that you subscribe to this channel and hit the bell for all the notifications. And I'll see you very, very soon, my friends. I love you all. Remember that you are more than anxiety. Mwah.